Straight ahead on WBKB, sad news to report about Alpena native John Gettert.
Plus, 2 school districts are discussing a merger, and another retailer joins the vaccine effort.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz.
3, 2.
Alpena native and former U.S. Olympics gymnastics coach John Gettert died by suicide this afternoon, hours after being criminally charged. Today, Attorney General Dana Nessel's office filed 24 charges against the former USA Gymnastics coach and Alpena Sports Hall of Famer. Later, Nessel announced that Gettert took his own life this afternoon after hearing of the charges. Gettert was facing 14 counts of human trafficking, forced labor causing injury, 6 counts of human trafficking of a minor, amongst other charges.
These allegations focus around multiple acts of verbal, physical, and sexual abuse perpetrated by the defendant against multiple victims.
Police discovered the body in Grand Ledge, Michigan. Gettert had ties to disgraced Dr. Larry Nassar. Nassar worked at Gettert's gym. We'll have more on this story later in sports.
There's a possibility that Hillman and Atlanta Community School Districts could merge. The boards of education spent time Monday discussing the potential for consolidation. Area school leaders say that a merger of the 2 school systems would have a great benefit to the community. By combining systems, student populations would increase and allow for more funding and less outsourcing from other school districts.
With our dual enrollment program, so a lot of our kids get some English and math credit through that. We also go to the Alpena High School for the CTE program where they can get credits as well. If we have, an increase in numbers of kids and an increase in staff, that we could offer some of the classes that neither one of us offer right now.
Both school systems say they will vote during upcoming board meetings on whether to pursue the matter further. A new report says a majority of Michigan educators are in the process of receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. That's great news in the midst of this pandemic, but there is another problem looming ahead for many Michigan school districts across the state.
A recent survey from the Michigan Education Association finds that a majority of educators are in the process of receiving the vaccine. A survey released in February says that a third of the more than 22,000 respondents are waiting to get their first shot, and about 90% of educators overall say they want to get the vaccine. That's the good news.
Of course, I don't like shots anyway, but I wanted to get it just because I knew at some point we were going to go back into the building.
In the coming years, there could be fewer teachers returning to the classroom. Multiple national and state level reports affirm that a talent shortage is on the horizon and will impact virtually every school district in the state.
I don't think teachers get enough respect from their administration, from the parents, from politicians that want to say we don't need a raise.
A report examining the state's education workforce identified a lack of diversity, not enough individuals going into the teaching profession, and many educators leaving the field as 3 significant challenges facing Michigan schools.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Rite Aid is the latest retailer to join the fight against COVID-19. Company spokesperson Christina Cafrani says Rite Aid locations are administering both Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. Cafrani says the vaccine is currently available in the Alpena location. She also says getting the vaccine is extremely easy.
So actually at this time in the Alpena location, we are vaccinating up to 200 people a day, Tuesday through Saturday. So at this time, there are still spots available to get vaccinated the same day.
Cafrani says vaccination is open to individuals 65 and older or those 18 and older who are healthcare workers. She adds vaccinations are based on current availability. To make an appointment, visit riteaid.com. And the Michigan House and Senate Democrats proposed a recovery plan for workers today. State lawmakers unveiled the hardworking Michiganders Recovery Plan earlier on Thursday. The package increases weekly unemployment benefits and extends those benefits to 26 weeks from 20 weeks. It also increases the amount paid to those who don't qualify for the maximum benefit. House Democratic leader Donna Lisinski says that the hardworking Michiganders Recovery Plan puts more money into the pockets of Michiganders as we continue to face the financial challenges posed by the pandemic.
Michiganders. House Democrats have proposed $270 million for direct support to small businesses impacted most by the pandemic. Supporting workers and supporting businesses is what will restart our economy.
And Democratic lawmakers also called on their Republican colleagues to pass Governor Whitmer's COVID-19 relief bill, which would provide federal funding needed to speed up the vaccination process.
A former Michigan governor was approved to President Biden's cabinet earlier today. Michigan's former governor and Attorney General Jennifer Granholm was officially confirmed as the nation's energy secretary. The Senate voted 64-35 to approve her nomination to Biden's cabinet. Granholm was elected as the state's first female governor in 2002 and again in 2006, and was the first female Attorney General of Michigan in 1998. Alpena County is looking for feedback on its recreational improvements. A survey is asking county residents for their opinions to help with updating the county's 5-year recreation plan for tourism. The county must have an approved plan in order to continue receiving Department of Natural Resource funding and grants. A commissioner in the county explains why it's important for residents to participate in the survey.
The more people take it, the better it is. This gives the DNR a good overview, gives them the idea of how they use them, what they're looking for in Alpena County. It just allows the county to apply for grants.
Residents looking to take the survey can go to the county's website or find a link posted on our website.
More news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, redesigned mail trucks.
On timing of any snow chances over the weekend, and also how warm those temperatures are going to continue to get, coming up later in the newscast.
And thank you for that, Ellie. Well, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, today we're highlighting a Flint native who is influential in tech. WBKB's Stephanie Minichi has more on this story.
Flint native William David Tarver got his first taste of electronics from his father, who served in the Army Signal Corps during World War II. When Tarver's father returned home, he began working at the post office because opportunities for blacks in electronics were few. But this wasn't all he did.
He also fixed radios and TVs for people in the basement of our home. And so he had his old electronics lab down there. And that's where I got familiar with electronics and got the interest from.
Tarver participated in several of Flint's science fairs and would later obtain his master's degree from the University of Michigan in electrical engineering. His dreams would far exceed the ordinary.
So I had this burning desire. I felt like that was my contribution to the civil rights movement, to show that I could create this world-class electronics company.
Tarver and his two co-founders began telecom analysis systems in his basement, where they tested performance of data modems. Apple, Nokia, and Samsung would later become clients of TAS for testing the performance of cell phones. In 1995, they sold TAS to British company Spirent plc for $30 million. Tarver describes his feeling in this moment.
It felt good. It felt like I called it Independence Day.
Tarver's done a lot of community service in New Jersey and Michigan and now teaches at the University of Michigan. Tarver says he does none of these things for a salary, but for his own interest. In Alpena, Stephanie Minichi, WBKB News.
Well, thank you for that, Steph. And you can tune in tomorrow for our last Black History Month feature.
Very nice. Well, U.S. mail trucks are getting a facelift. The U.S. Postal Service says it has awarded a 10-year contract to Wisconsin-based Oshkosh Defense to build a new generation truck. The redesign will represent the most dramatic modernization of the U.S. mail fleet in 3 decades. The new trucks will come with either fuel-efficient internal combustion engines or battery electric powertrains. And you can expect to see the new trucks on carrier routes in 2023.
And when those trucks come to Alpena, I want an inside look.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up on WBKB News, Ellie Morrison is next with your 7-day forecast plus the photo of the day. Stay tuned.
Degrees with partly cloudy skies. For Wednesday, we're going to have highs getting up to around 40 degrees with partly cloudy skies. And on Thursday, mostly cloudy with highs around the upper 30s. And today's photo was sent in by Kathy Thomas. She took this picture at Mackinac City this week. This blue ice near the shore provided the inspiration for the photo while the temperature was in the 40s at the time. Thank you, Kathy, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you'd like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
And when all that blue ice is gone, I need to check out Mackinac.
That is postcard perfect.
That looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
Sports is coming up next, but first, Jake Vandenbroek is here with a preview. Jake, what's happening?
Hey, Tyler, next in sports, we have our top play of the week. You don't want to miss that. Plus, we have some breaking news regarding former USA Gymnastics coach John Geddert. Keep it here, ladies and gentlemen, because sports is coming up next.
That's all we have for you this evening.
You can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
And check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Stephanie Manici. Have a great evening.